Hello, welcome to the Cup Night channel. My name is Shane, and today I'm going to be doing a reading using some tarot, some archetypes, and yeah, a little bit of astrology. Um, so we'll be connecting to the energy of the sun for this message. It is Sunday, as I'm doing this reading. So if we look, this current date is November 23rd, 2025, 10:23, 123 right as I'm recording this. And yeah, if we look at the actual position of the sun in the sky, as we can see with our observational instruments and abilities, our eyes, telescopes, scientific instruments, you'll actually see that it is just now leaving Libra. It is at the very edge of Libra going into Scorpio. And you'll see Mercury is here, retrograding back into Libra. And Venus is right here in the center of this box in the constellation of Libra. Mars is right here in Scorpio. So yeah, this is what we're dealing with. This is the energy I'll be connecting to. Let's take a look at the True Sky astrology chart here. So here's the glyph for the sun. You can see its little ticker is right on the edge of Libra and Scorpio in the 11th house. So we are dealing with larger groups of people, large communities, futuristic concepts, those kinds of things. It's an Aquarian energy that the 11th house holds. And with the sun being right smack dab at the edge of Libra and Scorpio, there's this idea of a transition. And what I'm getting is this, it's like this balancing of truth, right? Especially truths that may have been buried, may have been a bit secretive. That has been coming up a lot, and I still very much feel that energy. Um, yeah, so we'll keep that in mind as we go through the readings here. I'm going to start with a saying, so I'm going to reduce these because I said so. That's why that was the first one. But I'm actually going to reduce this to just one to keep it relevant. But yeah, it's like because that's my truth. That's what I said, right? I said what I said. It's like that kind of energy. Because I said so, that's why. It's also a little bit of this like bullying energy. Oops. Um, I guess you could see it in that way too. It's like, a parent telling their child to do something, and the child is like, why do I have to do that? And the parent doesn't give them an actual reason. They just say, because I said so, that's why. Because I'm the authority here, so you listen to me. You know. Personally, I don't really like that. um, I think that if you're asking someone to do something, as even if it's a child, you should have a good reason for why they should do it and why you're not doing it. And if you're trying to teach them a lesson, if you're a parent and they're a child or you're an authority in their life, then you should explain that you want them to learn something from the experience. That way they understand why they're doing it, right? Be honest, as honest as you can be. It's not always easy, but we can try. So before I get this saying, on the pre-shuffle, I ended up with the Four of Cups on the bottom for the tarot. So there's definitely this like meditative kind of waiting, evaluation, energy, contemplation, right? And then for the archetypes, we have the self. And this particular depiction of the self here is an expression, right? That light radiating out from the core of this figure on the card, that pearl at the center of their being. So it's like, what I'm getting is this. I have a feeling this period of the sun transiting through Libra was a time of like really going inward and achieving this kind of inner balance. Like, um, you may have identified a lot of things as the sun was moving through Virgo. You got really particular on certain things within you or the way that you were interacting with other people. You just got specific on things, right? Because that's Virgo, right? Virgo energy, specificity, meticulousness, thoroughness, right? And then Libra was this time of taking the results of that investigation, that internal investigation, that outward investigation, and really sitting with it and thinking about what it means for you and balancing those energies. And then now, this time of the sun going into Scorpio is going to be the time to share the truths that you have internalized within yourself. And sometimes the truth hurts, right? That Scorpion has a stinger. Um, the sign of Scorpio actually has three animals associated with it. The scorpion is considered the lower form. Not to say that it's a bad thing. It's just it's like if you were to think like hell, earth, heaven, you could say that scorpion is like the hell form of the Scorpio constellation, and then earth would be snake, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's snake, and then the highest form or like the heavenly form would be an eagle. And all of those creatures, snakes have fangs, scorpions have stingers and pincers, and eagles have really sharp claws and beaks. So they all carry this energy of like sharpness. Like the truth can be really sharp and it can really sting, can really hurt. And that's just how it is. It doesn't matter. It's that way for a reason because it has to get people's attention, right? It has to cut like that in order to wake people up, in order to be like so they can feel that it's the truth, right? Because if it was just like like a soft caress, they they might just ignore it, right? This energy of ignoring is kind of coming through here with the Four of Cups as well. So you have to just kind of take it as it is. Say hi to John, everybody. Well, he's gone now. But yeah, that was my boyfriend, John. Okay, let's get a saying. Let's get a saying. Oh, interesting. He's dead, Jim. I don't know if this is from a movie or something. It's not really like a saying like you would think, like a colloquialism or a cliche or anything like that. It's more of like a this feels like it's from a movie that I don't know. So if you know, share in the comments, please, because I have no idea. But regardless, there's this once again this like scorpionic energy coming through of like because that's what Scorpio is about. It's about transformation. That's why it has these three forms, right? It's like you level up or you can level down. You can embody the form of Scorpio that you need to in order to interact with that level of reality, to embody that level of energy within this very transformative sign. So this idea of death coming through, he's dead, Jim. Somebody has died. And when we're talking about death from a spiritual standpoint, we're talking about transformation. We're not talking about like physically dying. Although this theme is coming up, so my condolences if someone has recently passed in your life or if someone soon passes, um, because that energy is coming through. So have to acknowledge it. But for the message sake, we are talking about transformation here. So there's this heavy emphasis on, um, personal truths triggering these transformational cycles. Maybe you are going to share some personal truths that you have cultivated in these seasons that have passed so far, and it's going to trigger this death rebirth cycle in someone around you or people around you, maybe even a group around you, because we're dealing with the 11th house, right? So your truth that you have been sharing could initiate this rebirth process in many people, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, I mean that's what the truth is for, right? It's so we can become more like ourselves. The more we like tune into our truths, our everyone's truth is not the same, right? We all have our own unique truth frequencies, I'll say. Uh, in order to get in tune with those frequencies, it's different. The process is different for everybody. But we can help people to identify when they are not in tune with their personal truth, right? By sharing ours. When we're authentic, when we can show people that it's, you can be your authentic self in this world, even if it's hard, right? It is possible. And that might inspire them to really dig into their selves. Okay, so let's also get a figure, and then I will pull some cards. Oh, again, we had this came out in yesterday's reading, this exact image. Yeah, I mean, it's a warrior, right? And it's a call out to Mercury, Hermes energy, right? With the wings on the ankles. So yeah, it's like being a this is like literally a spiritual warrior, right? That's what's being depicted here. So it's this. It's boldly sharing your truth, keeping your, guarding your truth and being ready to strike. There's that scorpionic energy with the sword here, being ready to strike when necessary. Knowing your boundaries and holding fast to them and rising higher. Yeah. That's what this time is about. Scorpio, the sun in Scorpio is asking us to rise higher, to do better, be honest, even when it's hard. Because ultimately, that's better for everyone. It's 11th house, it's better for the collective. Okay, let's see what comes through with the tarot. Yeah, I'm getting the sense that a lot of us out here have really stepped into this period of our lives where we have become just very in tune with our inner knowing, our independence, our ability to rely on ourselves, to tap into our personal journey, to really know what we want, where we want to go, how we're going to get there, and what we won't accept along the way. You know, let me cover this up before I share it, because I am dealing with these. So the world, right? Completion. Yeah, this card came out in yesterday's reading as well. There is definitely a major completion, and that intuition, right? That knowing that those things in the dark, we are coming into a more a better understanding of how to interact with these unknown energies, these dark, murky energies, not being afraid of them, but embracing them and realizing that there's so much value there. Okay. Oh, all right. We'll keep this one. It's the world again. So, once again, emphasis on major completion, major cycle completion. You know, this is a huge victory. Let's see what else needs to come out here. Just on that side. Nope. Okay. Two of Wands. You are already planning for what comes next. Yeah. You're looking out at all the possibilities that exist now that you've made it through the last cycle. You've come out on the other side and you are full of energy, ready to go. You're stabilized. You're looking out there, seeing what opportunities you might want to partake in now. And it could be anything you want, right? Only you know. No one else can tell you. Only you know for real, what you truly want. But that's great. Yeah, you're in this very like, I'm ready, let's go energy. You're ready to commit. Also, something surprising, which this has been coming up a lot, Tower on the bottom. Yeah, something shocking, something surprising. It's going to shake the foundations of your life in some way. But yeah, there's definitely a commitment to be made. We could just cover the people up here, just in case, because of YouTube policies and whatnot. But yeah, so contracts, commitments. Yeah, you're choosing your highest aligned path, right? That's kind of the lovers and its elevated meaning, right? Is, that angel bringing these masculine and feminine aspects of self together. It's you're balanced, right? You're aligning to that truth frequency by being balanced and listening to that call. Yeah. And then finally, Queen of Cups. Interiority, right? Really looking at the signs around you, studying things intently, being very in tune with the environment, being very aware of the meaning of things, every interaction, every symbol that comes into your conscious awareness. I mean, just sitting here looking directly at what I'm looking at now, which is, behind my laptop, there's some blinds. If I sat here long enough and just stared at these blinds, I could spiral into an endless rabbit hole of meaning just based off of the symbol of blinds. There's so much depth there. It's just, how willing are we to engage with the sacredness of these everyday symbols, right? It's, you know, on the surface, when you are not acting out of that place of like meaning and spiritual significance, it's just another everyday object, right? It's you know, there's not a lot of value there other than, maybe its mundane purpose, which is to keep a room dark when you want or let the light in when you want. But even that has a lot of significance, right? There's a lot of meaning just in those functions themselves. But you can interact with anything at this level if you choose to. We don't always do it because it's not practical. We have to live our lives. We can't always just be trying to divine deep spiritual significance from every single moment of our lives. You can, but you also have to balance that with just participating in the experience itself, right? So once again, there is this idea of balancing with we got the two, right? Balance. And a six coming through with the lovers, but the lovers imagery itself depicts this masculine feminine balance, this coming together, right? Yeah. Let's get some nouns. Ooh, parcel. You might be getting a package soon. Stocking. Christmas time is coming up. We haven't quite made it past Thanksgiving yet in the northern hemisphere, uh, the states. For me, mark fruit. Hmm. Something maybe coming to fruition for you as well. Might have something to do with this package, this parcel. Um, you might have made a mark in some way on someone, on a group, on just your family, your friend. I don't know. Or you've marked something, you've made a goal, a new goal that you're aiming for. Let's just go with these. I like these. So partner, yeah, this is that two energy coming through again, right? The the people in your life, and also the lovers, right? Contracts, commitments, partners, partnering up. So there may be a new partnership of some kind, whether it be romantic, business, friendship, whatever, reconnection with old friends, old family, something like that. There's some kind of a connection, a commitment, a coming together to accomplish something here, a partnering tank. And this partnership might be a tank. It's like a very powerful coming together. Um, you might also feel more like a tank. Maybe you have been working on your physical body and adopting healthier habits, and you just feel more like ready to go, like more solid, stable, impenetrable in some ways. Rub. That's funny. So yeah, this can be read in two ways, which we do have the number two coming through. So I will take, both meanings that are coming to mind for me. So first, rub is like, makes me think massage, like a loving kind of rubbing energy. Um, Intimate, a very intimate thing. Could be something if you have a partner, you and your partner are exploring, like massaging each other, you know, or going to get massages, professional massages maybe. And then also there is this like friction, this idea of friction, right? The rub. Um, Maybe two opposing things kind of like clashing together in some way or coming together. It's this idea of partnering again. Um, but it's like partnering with maybe someone who is kind of completely different from you in a lot of ways. So there's a little bit of a friction between you two, but it works. It's like a good thing. It's a creative thing, right? Creator. Yeah, it opens up this space for you guys to make things that otherwise you couldn't have done on your own otherwise, right? Because when you join together, you create this third thing, this angelic thing, right? I mean, look at that angel above them, right? These two energies, this masculine and feminine energies coming together is it's either as a result of this angel bringing them together in some way. You could think of it as the forces of the universe, or the result of them coming together produces this like heavenly divine thing, this new creative energy, right? You can see it both ways. Both things can be true at once, right? It's that reconciliation of opposites. Crow. I have been seeing a lot of crows in the neighborhood that I am in recently, just like big flocks of them, like just on the street, pecking at the ground when I go and take Mezzy for a walk. And they're comfortable with the people in the neighborhood, so they kind of just hang out and let you walk right by them. They'll fly away a little bit, but mostly they just hang out. But yeah, recently, because it's not really a normal thing since I've been here. I go on walks like every day in this neighborhood, and I haven't been seeing them in these big flocks like they are right now. Um, so yeah, crows could be really significant to you right now. They are highly intelligent creatures. They are associated with like dark feminine energy too. They might be trying to tell you something, make you aware of something, or at least let you know something big is happening, especially if you've been seeing them in big flocks. Sponge. Okay. Yeah, so this to me, this is kind of going with that idea of like a massage. Like it's like this idea of like cleansing, kind of like taking it easy. You might be taking care of someone, like sponge baths are coming to mind. Maybe you are, um, maybe that is the kind of intimacy here. You could be caring for an elderly person or something like that, someone in your life. Um, yeah. Day. So there's this, and this is the 11th. I want to point that out because we're dealing with the 11th house, right? With the sun right now. So this one, day, I mean, that is the energy of the sun, right? That makes so much sense. So here again, we have this recognition that the sun is in the 11th house with these nouns coming through. But it's this energy of clarity, of joy, of vibrancy, being able to see things and interact with them on a very clear level, a lack of murkiness, of darkness. Yeah. And then finally join again, this idea of partnership. There's some kind of joining together. Yeah, creator. It's right underneath creator. So it's like once again this emphasis on like this creative uh project, partnership. I mean, some of you could be like creating human life, making babies. especially with Rub coming through. There's definitely this intimate thing, but also it could be seen as a like I said, this like business partnership in some way to work on something together, to collaborate, to create something new that otherwise wouldn't have existed. Yeah, that's cool. Let's get oh yeah, let's get some archetypes. Mm. During my meditation this morning, I was just like a very peaceful energy. It was wonderful. Like I was playing at I usually start off my meditations by just like listing to myself in my head, three things that I'm grateful for. Instead of writing them down, I don't really like journaling it as much. I prefer to journal like my dreams and then interpret them and then just like auto write and stuff like that. But for the gratitude thing, I found that doing it as part of my meditation, my daily meditation practice, it's a lot easier for me to stick with it. So I always open my meditations with like, I'm grateful for these things, just whatever comes up to my mind. And today I was really struggling with focusing on that because I just kept playing out these scenarios of things I would want to say to people who do things that bother me, right? So for me, it was people that I grew up with that were very close to me as I was growing up, family, stuff like that, friends. And I was just, I wasn't even trying. It was just happening. I was just, my inner core was bringing up these scenarios of like, if this person says this to you again in this way, this is how you could respond in a way that is like not mean, not hateful, but it's honest and it's going to hurt them, but it's true. And once again, this idea of like being brutally honest with people, even if you know it might hurt and there's a potential that they might get upset about it, but it's your truth. And for me, they were coming up because obviously these are things that I want to share, right? I want to say to these people. So you might have um, you might have similar feelings at this time that maybe you've been playing scenarios out in your head of you kind of like being honest in some way. I mean, even my dreams last night, I was with people I grew up with who were spiritual leaders in some sense in my life, and I never really saw them as being honest about it. Like it was kind of like like a fake spirituality, you know what I mean? And that's why I got really repelled from a young age of interacting with religious institutions and things like that because I saw the falseness of the people in my life who were playing those roles. They weren't being authentic, and I could tell easily. It was very obvious to me. Um, so, but in my dreams, I was being very forthright with my beliefs now, and in the dreams they were actually listening to me. They weren't agreeing with everything that I was saying, but they were considering it. They were open to it, right? That 4 of Cups energy that we started this reading off with, they were like, maybe kind of closed off to it, but they were sitting there and listening. At least, I was offering this new cup, this new type of way of looking at something, and they weren't like 100% open to it, which is okay. Nobody's ever going to be that way at first, but they would at least hear me out. So it was kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. It was almost like my dream was telling me like speaking your truth may not be as hard as you think it's going to be, or it might not be as jarring as you imagine it will be, right? Okay, let's just draw 2 more. Sorry. I mean, not sorry. I felt compelled to share that, so it's relevant. Um, let's get back to these archetypes. Okay. All right. So on the bottom, we have the orphan. So yeah, it's to me, this is that idea of not sharing your truth causes this disconnection. It causes this orphaned energy, right? Um, this energy of fear is coming through, but also wanting to reach out. Because at the core of this, you see this wanting to reach out, but then the snake around it. To me, snakes don't always represent fear, but they can. And that's kind of the energy I'm feeling off of this card right now. It's like this fear is kind of encapsulating this longing to connect. with beauty, with truth, with just letting things be what they are, letting them unfold the way that they will. So there's this desire to connect with truth and to share that truth with others, to not be orphaned from your truth. We have the forest. This came out in yesterday's reading too. Um, yeah, you that cliche saying, seeing the forest for the trees is coming through, and also seeing the trees for the forest, the inverse of that. To me, that's kind of the energy that's coming through is like seeing things not just from one side, not just from one perspective, but from multiple perspectives, right? And realizing that there's value in that. I mean, you can see this like gem like very symmetrical structure jutting out from the ground, right? It's like if you are willing to engage with the complexity of a forest for what it is, not just what people have told you it is or what you've heard about it. It's like, no, ask your own questions, go in and explore the forest yourself, and you might find something surprising jutting out of the ground. Like, that's the kind of energy I'm getting here. It's once again, it's this idea of interacting with truth on your level, on your frequency, not anybody else's, and not caring what other people think about how you engage with it, right? It's your own exploration. So it doesn't matter, other people will engage with it how they will. But the way you engage with it will reveal unique insights specific to you, which you can then share with others. There is a dead end. So once again, there is this idea of something has come, it's completed, um, right? The world. And right now, you may feel like you're at this kind of like stopping point, like you can't go any further. You're not really sure what the next step is. You've kind of reached this wall. There may be somebody that you feel is holding you back with his hand in the center here, kind of being like, stop, you can't go any further. Um, but I have a feeling this is temporary, right? Especially with the tower on the bottom here. There is going to be, like I said, this is like that wall in front of you. It's going to be like blown up. This is what you're waiting for. And I've been waiting for this. It feels like a very explosive kind of truth, a bigger than just me, bigger than, it's 11th house energy, right? It's a kind of, it feels very global, like something that's going to shake a lot of things up, change people's plans, that kind of energy. Reevaluate, have to, whatever they were doing before, they might have to do it a little bit differently now, or a lot a bit differently. The tower is kind of that energy of having to start over from the ground up, right? But yeah, this dead end feels very temporary to me. And once again, we have this death energy coming through. Dead. And we started out with that saying, he's dead, Jim. So yeah. Often after going through like a death rebirth cycle, you might feel very raw and vulnerable and not knowing what to do next. And there's usually this period of waiting where you kind of just have to, be where you are. But that doesn't mean you just have to sit there and do nothing. You can still look out at the world and see what's going on, right? Like this person is doing here. They've got the world in their hands and they're just kind of studying it. And they're dressed and ready to go. And, he's got one foot up on that ledge, like ready to hop over this wall. I mean, there's that wall, there's that perceived dead end, right? But it may just be that it's not time yet. You're still in this kind of waiting. You're just waiting for this tower, right? You're looking out at the options that are available, but you're also waiting for something to happen because it's coming, right? You've been feeling that something's coming, and you're waiting for that thing to happen. And of course, here's that scorpionic energy again, right? The sword, the truth. It's giving me. Usually, I see this as a card of decisiveness, which I still think applies here, but I'm seeing this more of like the Ace of Swords energy right now. This is like the truth, and the truth, it cuts, right? It separates whenever you speak your truth to someone who wasn't aware of that particular truth that you are now sharing, it might change the way they perceive you and perceive things about you and related to your particular relationship and the situation you find yourself in. So it's this, yeah, it's this division of perception, right? And there's that lightning energy like on the tower. Oh, it's hard to do this going backwards. Let's see. Like this. Yeah, there we go. So once again, yeah, this larger truth, this larger lightning bolt, whatever it is, it's going to be drastic. It's going to change things in a big way, which I'm excited for personally. I feel I have been kind of in this energy for a while now, like ready to go, ready to embrace the next opportunity, right? It just hasn't shown itself yet. And you may be feeling that way too. Okay, let's get some advice and close this reading out. Get some verbs. Okay, I'm going to reduce these to 3 because, yeah, there's a lot. I saw doubt as the first word there. So you may be feeling a lot of doubts, which is perfectly fine. It's okay. We do that. We're humans. It's okay to doubt yourself, to doubt the circumstances, to doubt that things are going to change because we can definitely get stuck in those. Whenever you feel like you're trapped somewhere or that there's no opportunities around you and you've been looking, you can feel very doubtful. It's not very encouraging because you're like, okay, I keep seeing these signs that things are out there for me, but where are they? And then you might start having doubts like, okay, maybe there is nothing out there for me. You know, it's okay to feel that way though. You just have to acknowledge it and then hold fast, hold fast to that faith that things will change and there will be new opportunities. There will be new doors opened. All right, let's get some verbs for advice. Please, Spirit. Thank you. Let's go. Step, encourage, and help. Yeah, right? The step. I mean, look, he's stepping up, right? He's got that. To me, it kind of looks like he's got one foot up on that ledge right there. It's kind of cloaked, so I guess you could see it as he's just standing there, but his back foot looks really close to that wall to me. So I like to think he has one foot up on this wall, almost like he's just like ready to leap out into the world and just start running. He's ready to go. So yeah, step. There's it's also this the as as advice, take the next step. Even if it's a really small one, whatever that is for you, just take one tiny little step every once in a while. If that's every day or, if you're constantly committing to something, working on something, then maybe you're taking multiple little steps every day. Encourage, yeah, encourage yourself, encourage others to really do what is aligned with their truth, the frequency of their particular truth. Yes, we can all use encouragement and help. Yeah. So, as advice, uh, we'll see this 2 ways. One, accept help when it's there for you. And 2, offer help when you can, right? It goes both ways. You create that positive feedback loop of giving and receiving, right? Giving and receiving encouragement, giving and receiving help. Yeah, I like that a lot. I don't think I need to draw any cards for that. It's pretty straightforward advice with those words. So I'm gonna end the reading here. Um, yeah, this one was great. It's exciting. I have been feeling I'm prepared. I feel I'm prepared for something. I still don't know what it is. I don't even have the slightest clue, but I keep being told that it's going to be a surprise. And, this tower energy comes out quite a bit for me. Um, so it really is going to be a surprise, whatever it is. So if you've been feeling similar, something shocking and awesome might even be a little bit terrifying is it's coming. Help is on the way. Help is on the way. Some kind of new partnership, some kind of new collaboration is coming through. So just hold fast. Keep encouraging yourself, encouraging others, taking those small steps, giving and receiving help, taking care of yourself as always, and keeping your heart open. So thank you for being here with me today, and yeah, bye.